Over 40% of Sri Lanka's rainforests have disappeared, and the country has lost nearly 30% of its endemic species in recent decades. On Kaleidoscope Dialogues, we put the tough questions to Professor Friedhelm Goeltenboth, tropical ecologist and rainforestation farming expert who has 25 plus years of experience across Asia and a lot here in Sri Lanka as well. You've been working in Sri Lanka for years. What is the single most damaging thing we are doing to our forests right now?
Now, I've been in the country now up and down more than 20 years, and over the time I saw positive and as well very negative developments. And the most negative kind of thing I am seeing is that around the protected areas, the buffer zones are not well managed. There is the crucial clue to protect actually what you would like to protect. And if this sort of management is not going into the right direction, then on the long end you are losing as well what you would like to protect. And therefore, buffer zone management is a clue and a key to nature protection.
So, are we losing our forests because we don't know any better, or do you think it's because some people make money from destruction?
I don't think that you can say you don't know it better, yeah? But the point is that nature per se has no value, not an economical value. Only a felled tree is going into the BNP, not a standing one, despite the fact that a tree is providing a lot of goods to the society, including oxygen, including water retention, including home for pollinators, name it. It's a multitude of let's say, offers which a single tree is even giving to the community, the surrounding community, and not only timber. You see, I always say a tree is not just a standing plywood. It is a living organism and has a lot of impact in the positive way. And if you remove it, it's gone forever.
So, when logging is termed development, who actually is developing?
This is a tricky thing, because logging is the one thing, and regaining the profit out of logging, as far as it's necessary, is the other thing. And this is one of the big differences between, let's say, our areas in the past and the present situation in most of the developing countries or developed countries, but sitting on a treasure, but the added value is going abroad and is not reinvested straight at the very local surrounding. And this is the big problem. You see, any development, any agriculture started with the removal of forest in the past. But if you are not investing what you get out as a credit from nature in a local, let's say, development, then you are losing.
So, what is rainforestation farming?
Rainforestation farming is something to try to put a model how you can be a sustainable sort of development, agricultural development, as a kind of near to nature agriculture, and not running from, let's say, a multi-diverse situation into a monoculture. And by this means losing a multi-option for development and having only one at the end of the day. For example, a rainforest has medicinal plants, it has a lot of other options, not only timber. A palm oil plantation has only one, oil. And that oil is even not consumed here. It's not needed even here. It's just going abroad. So the added value is as well going abroad. But the depletion of the landscape is left here. And over time, at the end of the day, you have here everywhere green deserts. That's the end of it. In form of grassland, which is even a grasshopper is not eating. Yes? And this is the problem. So rainforestation farming is trying to put a model where subsistence improvement, or let's say subsistence securing, is combined with biodiversity protection and at the end of the day as well landscape protection. And if you are bringing these three things together, you have to keep in mind the nearer the production is to the natural, physical, local environment, the more sustainable.
Professor, farmers have heard promises being made. They're also indebted, they're broke, they're desperate. Why would they even believe that rainforestation farming isn't going to be just another green promise?
Farmers are normally very conservative, and they do what the fathers have done and the grandfathers. So why should they believe in a thing like that? And I say they have not to believe anything. They must see it as a model. And therefore, rainforestation farming is provided as a model to be established in cooperation with the local people on a farm of a farmer who wanted to do something new because the old system is already finished up and he had only the possibility migrate to a town or do something else, yeah, on his own area. And therefore, we are never giving just advice, and we are never just preaching. We are producing a model of a subsistence farm, a rainforestation farm, in cooperation with the local people, and then they can copy that. They can even develop it into new kind of income levels. But, and this is the very but which we are really insisting on, otherwise we are even not starting it, that is only indigenous plants, no exotics. Because only the indigenous plants, in particular the trees, have evolutionary, adapted themselves to the very given environment, not a tree coming from South America or Australia, like acacia or eucalyptus. Or a palm oil coming from Western Africa. So on the long run, to be sustainable, you need really to be as near to nature in your productive agricultural approach as possible.
Sri Lanka has planted trees, but Sri Lanka has also lost forests. Where have we gone wrong?
Forest departments are not very reluctant to go into the indigenous trees. They always go to the fast-growing, timber-producing stuff. And that is coming from abroad. And if you are going further on this approach, you are losing your landscape, your biodiversity, your identity even. Yeah? Then you have a South American landscape in here, yeah? And not a Sri Lankan anymore. As it is already in some countries, like for example Vietnam. They have acacia plantation to the horizon, yes? And this is really in the moment now changing there. Because they really imagine we have even not the beetles we had before. And the pollinators we had before. They are all gone. Because they cannot live on plants coming from outside. So this is the biggest mistake.
How fast does rainforestation farming put money in a farmer's hand?
In the planning of agricultural extension services, they have then just one solution for a problem, yeah? Without looking into the very pattern of the economy on a farmyard, that you not have to improve only one side, but you have to look in all the possibilities. And there is a formula which has been developed even by a lot of organizations, including even the former king of Thailand once said, for a farm you need a 3 to 3 to 3 to 1 system. That means your given area should provide for carbohydrate 30%, for protein 30%, for fibers, vitamins, whatsoever, 30%, and 10% for the house and stable and whatever kind of houses you need. And if this sort of 30, 30, 30, 10 is coming together and nicely arranged, you are absolutely secured. But if you are losing this, you are dependent on the outside world, and then you don't get any penny in your pocket, or only a very, very little. Inside of the rainforest, they're in farming from the very beginning. They have an income, because you are fading out of a monoculture, maybe economy, and moving into a highly diverse, which have a short-term, a mid-term, and a long-term economical aspect. The short-term is just vegetables whatsoever, yeah? And the long-term are the timber trees.
What are the 3 priorities Sri Lanka needs to put in place to make sure this rainforestation farming will work, will take off?
Sri Lanka on its own has already an historical kind of knowledge how to run agriculture in the given surrounding. For me, for example, the so-called tank system is an excellent example from the past how you can avoid being more and more vulnerable in your own area. And this is one of those things you see, for example, which we are as well promoting wherever we are able to do, to say, look, don't look to things coming always from outside. If you have not proved whether you have already everything in hand. Yeah? And just coming back to the very recent sort of flooding, if that tank system would have been in order by having been connected to the normal irrigation system, that flood would not have happened as it has happened. That's for sure. So combining, let's say, modern technology in form of new ideas, new species of plants, new kind of approaches with historical, already well established systems would be a marvelous combination to improve whatever is necessary.
From YouTube to Facebook to LinkedIn and Instagram, Kaleidoscope delivers stories that matter. Stay connected, subscribe and follow to experience more.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Ceylinco Life.